writing and interview tips. So there is a famous quote: "A goal without a plan is only a dream." Right. So if you want to achieve anything, right, your job, in this case, your job, right, you should have a plan. So how to do that? So resume writing and interview tips, right, comes in this way. So let's start with today's agenda. So today's agenda is resume writing. Then we'll talk about interview Q&A. Then there will be a Q&A session for you guys. You can ask your doubts there at the end for 15 minutes. Then we'll summarize everything. So the goal of the resume, right? Whatever the resume you make, right? The goals of that resume is you should get shortlisted for interview, right? Based on your resume, and you should get noticed by hiring manager as well. And the interview Q&As, right? Those based on your resume, right? There will be interview Q&As. The hiring managers, right? They will ask you questions based on your resume. You should be clear about that as well. And the final goal of the resume is you should get the job. Our resume, I think. So what is the resume actually? So it's a basic definition is that a resume is an accomplishment driven marketing tool for individuals seeking employment. So you can think of it as an advertisement. The resume is right, it's advertising you. You are the product, and the resume through resume you are selling yourself. And the goal is to get hiring managers buy into what you're selling. That is giving you an interview. And I'd like to tell you that there is a famous statistics that 10 out of 8 out of 10 resumes, right, are discarded with only a 10 seconds glance. So your resume should be like that, right? Whenever someone sees it, right, they should think of you, right? Yes, this is the guy we can hire. There is a potential there. So we should give him or her a chance. Now the hidden messages of resume, right? So the resume describe you. So if the resume is neat, right, this means you are neat and clean. If the resume is well organized, means you are well organized in your life. If the resume is error free, right, there is no grammatical errors, then it means that you provide attention to details. You have that quality. And the professional appearance, right, there is a format how resume should be. So that professional appearance, right, it gives the message that you are careful and competent. And now the purpose of resume, right, it's the foot in the door. So if you're getting an interview, right, so there is a chance that you will get the job. Unless Until and unless you get an interview, right, you won't get the job. So the purpose of resume is it should put your foot in the door of the interview, and it's your first impression. It's There is a saying, right, first impression is the last impression. So the resume should give good vibes about you, the first impression. And resume is your best marketing tool through which you can market yourself. It also communicates your qualification and skills, all the qualifications you have, all the skills you have, which will be required for that. It will communicate that, and also your professional appearance. Now, the resume format, right? Earlier, what used to happen is if you submit your resume, right, the HRs, right, they will look into the resume manually. But nowadays, it doesn't happen. So, for a single job, right, if the vacancies are 10, 100 plus people are applying for that. So there is no time for the hiring managers to look into the resume manually. 100 plus resumes, you can't take it. It's not possible. So to reach the request, so now there is a system called ATS, applicant tracking system. So to get into the recruiter's eye, right? So the recruiter will, so there will be 100 plus, suppose there is 100 resumes. So it will go through the ATS system, and only few resumes will be selected based on the system, and only those resumes the hiring managers will look into it, and based on that they'll select the people for interviews. So it's a ATS is actually a software. Now this system, what this system does, right, it collects and scans and ranks all the application based on the job. So later in this session I'll be talking about the jobs. based on which we can create the resume. So this will scan and rank all the application based on that. So nowadays, companies, all the companies, there are including the Fortune companies, right? Fortune companies, 98% of the Fortune companies are using the ATS system. So now the question is how to create an ATS resume. The first and foremost is you should pick the right resume format. So there are different formats for resume. You should pick the right one, which is required for the job. And also the appropriate file type. So nowadays, nobody submits the file, right? Their resume in doc format, .doc format or .docx format. So the resume, mostly the resumes are in PDF format. You should also, so there are various tools available like Nova Resume is there. So through there, you can choose the ATS resume template and based on that you can create your resume. And you should always keep it in mind that all the sections, right, there will be sections on your resume, right? Education section, qualification section, all this should be kept in a proper way, in the right way. First, what should come first? Your education, then your work experience, like all that. And your resume, right, there are some keywords which are very much required to get noticed by the hiring managers, to get noticed by the ATS system as well. So there are some keywords we should use that based on the job profile. Like, so this is an example, right? So there is a job. This is the functional and technical skills required for the job, right? The first one is proficiency and experience in econometric, statistical analytic, and ML techniques. Second was it proficient in ML languages, Python, Hive, and SAS, SQL. So suppose there are two resumes, right? In one resume, in skills or in projects or in education, nowhere it's mentioned that the person knows Python or SQL or he or she has the knowledge of ML techniques. His resume won't pass the ATS system. That ATS software, right? It won't pass that. Because for that job, for this job, right? This Python, this Hive, ML techniques, right? It's very much required. These are essentials for the job. So in your resume, right? Somewhere along the line, either in project or in education or in work experience, it should be mentioned that you have this knowledge. I think I hope everyone got it. Now the interview Q&As. Let's talk about the Q&As. We'll be talking about three basic interview Q&As. So what is the goal of the Q&As, right? There are some basics questions, interview questions, which are asked multiple times, and there are some questions like tell me about yourself. 99% of the time, the hiring managers, the HRs will ask you this question. So the goal of the interview Q&As is the upskilling your interview answering skills. You should be prepared beforehand, right? So these are, so if you're going for an interview, right, you know these are the some of the questions which are which they are going to ask. So you should prepare yourself, right? Otherwise it will be haphazard. You won't be able to answer properly. And the goal, final goal is to get the job. So the first question is, right, tell me about yourself. So I recommend a simple and effective formula for starting your response. Like, you should talk about your present, past, and future. Like in present, you can talk a little about what your current role is, the scope of it, and perhaps whatever is your big recent accomplishment. And in past, you can tell the interviewer how you get there and mention your previous experiences that is relevant to the job. Always remember, whatever you answer, right, that should be relevant to the job you are applying for, the job you are giving interview for. Second, third one is future. So, what you are looking to do next, and why you are interested in this job, and maybe you can answer why you are a great fit for it too. So, for this, right, for tell me about yourself, right? First point is you should choose the right starting point of your story. It's very important. Then you should also highlight some of your impressive experience and accomplishments. And you should also conclude by explaining your current situation. And most important, you should keep your answer work related. And tell me about yourself, right? It shouldn't be like you are talking for 15-20 minutes, right? It should be very much concise when answering. Should be max 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. So you can start. So starting right. So for example, right, you can say I graduated with my degree, right, in data science and data engineering 6 years ago, or 2 years ago, and we immediately went to work for a small design company in Hyderabad or Bangalore. Since then, I have this accomplishment. These are the projects I have worked on, like that. And at the end, right, you can end it like that. And that's why I wanted to interview with your firm. The position seems like a great opportunity to advance those skills I just talked about and continue building my career and challenging myself. Like that, you can start. Then the second question, right? Why we should hire you, right? This is also one of the most asked question in an interview. So this question, right, this HR interview question is very tricky. No matter how simple it may sound, right? Why we should hire you? This is very simple question, but it can be tricky, and it can be an intimidating question as well if you're not ready for it. So the general way, right? There are some possible ways you can answer this question, right? For example, right? Over the years, I have acquired relevant skills and experience, which is I shall bring to your organization. I have also worked tirelessly on my communication abilities and teamwork skills, which I will put to in my future career, which would be in your organization if I am selected for the position. I have given my 100% effort in my past companies, and this has enabled me to recognize my capabilities and limitations. If I channel them further, they will bring fruitful results to me and also to your esteemed organization. There are another way of answer. So this is a general question, right? For different people, the answer should be different, right? It shouldn't be monotonous, right? So there are various answers available online as well, but you should bring some unique to it, right? So there are one more answer possible ways. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to get interviewed at such a renowned company. Your organization will surely prove to be an excellent platform for me to stabilize my skills and knowledge in the corporate world. Even though, if you're a fresher, right? This is for a fresher. Even though I am a fresher, I assure you that I will give my best and work for my full potential so that I can contribute as much as I can towards the growth and welfare of this great brand. So, third one. So, what are your salary expectations? This is also one of the most asked interview questions. And no matter how great the job interview goes, right? An interview question about your salary expectation can stop you short. So, from this question, right, what the interviewer wants to know from you, actually, how much. So, employer may ask this question, right, to get a sense of whether or not they can afford your help. They may also ask you to see how much you value your work, also yourself and your work. So for this, right, you should research and prepare an answer ahead of time so that you can demonstrate to the employer that you are not only flexible with your salary, but you also know what you're worth. So there are few things you shouldn't say when you are answering this. What are your salary expectations answer? So you should also always avoid giving a set amount, right? My salary expectation is 50,000. My salary expectation is 1 lakh, right? Never do that. Always give your salary expectation within a range, 50 to 70,000, 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20,000, like this. And you should also not price yourself out of the job, right? Suppose there is an opening for data scientist, right? Or data analyst. And if you research, right? So if there is some company XYZ and you have research, right? How much salary they are giving to data analyst, right? You found out that the average salary they are giving is 15 lakh. So your range should be between 13 to 17 lakh or 14 to say 18 lakh. This should be your range. So this right, you can answer this like this. I would like to learn more about the specific duties required for this position, which I look forward to in this interview. However, I do understand that positions similar to this one pay in the range of suppose 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20,000 in our region. So you should also research for your region as well, right? So in Asia, the companies may be offering different salaries. In UK, they are may be offering different salaries, right? You should research for your region, specific salaries. And this answer, right? Why it works, right? With this response, right? You are letting the employer know that you are aware of what this similar kind of roles pays in the market, right? You know the market you are applying for, right? The data science market, right? You know how it's paying to people, right? So you know the market. So this answer, right? You are also mentioning a range which provides more room for negotiation, right? So you can negotiate with the HRs. So these are all for this. So our company is Data Science Corners. So we also provide resume building and interview preps. So in this, our expert, right? Our expert will connect with you one on one. In one on one, they'll be with you based on your education, based on your experience, right? They'll build your resume, and they'll also be making this basics question, right? I talked about three questions, right? There are many basics questions, right? So also be preparing personalized based on based on your education, your experience, right? Personalized answers for you as well. And this is available for currently, it's available, its actual price is 699. So currently it's available for 499. So if any one of you are interested to build your resume and interview question Q&As, you can contact us. So we also provide data science interview Q&As. So in this Q&As, we have collected 500 plus interview Q&As, real interview Q&As. So and answers are available there along with the company's name in which they are asked. So this interview Q&As, right? It will increase your knowledge base and make you well prepared and confident for the interviews. And it will be a catalyst in the growth of your career. Currently, it is also available for 499. So we also have a module Python for data science. We have recently launched it. It's available for its current price is 999. So for you guys, it's 799. Sorry, there's some mistakes there. So okay, so Python for data science also available for 799. So if you guys, so this course is assignment based course, complete hands on, so that you get job ready for Python for data science. So it will make you confident in Python. It start from data science, preliminary data science to the expert EDA. So everything for Python is available there.